We spoke to him not that much during rehearsal, but we last saw him May 14th.
Do you know how long he'd been given propofol?
Well, see, with This Is It, there was a lot of footage that was taken out that no one saw.
Jermaine Jackson, a pivotal figure in the iconic Jackson family, has experienced a life filled with both triumphs and turmoil. From his role in the early success of the Jackson 5 to his personal battles within the public eye, Jermaine's journey has been anything but ordinary. But beneath the fame, there's a deeper story of rivalry, family rifts, and complicated relationships that have shaped who he is today. His rivalry with his brother Michael, public feuds, and the tangled web of romantic entanglements have all played a part in defining his legacy. Join us as we explore the untold story of Jermaine Jackson, his rise, his fall, and the challenges he faced in navigating the pressures of being a Jackson.
I'm Jermaine Jackson, and I'm the son of Catherine and Joseph Jackson. There are 9 of us total siblings. I'm the 4th oldest.
This is a journey through family, fame, and the complexities of life under the spotlight. Jermaine Jackson, born in 1954, was a founding member of the legendary Jackson 5. From a young age, it was clear that he was destined for greatness. With his smooth, soulful voice and exceptional skill on the bass guitar, Jermaine became a key player in the group's early success. His musical talent helped define the signature sound that would propel the Jackson 5 to stardom, alongside his younger brother, Michael. The Jackson 5's journey wasn't an easy one, though. Growing up in Gary, Indiana, the Jackson family faced financial struggles and lived in humble conditions. Despite their hardships, their bond as a family and a group remained strong. From their small beginnings, they practiced relentlessly, determined to make their mark in the music world. It was through these early years that Jermaine's connection with his brothers deepened, forming the foundation of the Jackson 5's unity. Jermaine was initially the lead singer alongside Michael, sharing the spotlight in the group's early hits. His vocal contributions, along with Michael's, formed the backbone of the Jackson 5's iconic sound, capturing the hearts of fans worldwide. Despite being overshadowed later by Michael's solo success, Jermaine's influence in the band was undeniable. As the Jackson 5 skyrocketed to fame, the brothers faced the pressures of the industry and the intense scrutiny that came with it. But through it all, Jermaine remained a constant presence in the group, using his musical talent and leadership to help guide the band's success. His time with the Jackson 5 was formative, not just for him, but for the entire family, as they navigated the challenges of fame together. In the early days, the Jackson 5 were not just a band, but a symbol of family unity and resilience. Jermaine's role was crucial in establishing their distinct sound, which would continue to influence music for decades. But even as the group's success grew, so did the challenges. The siblings faced internal struggles and the pressure of living up to the public's expectations. Yet, their bond as brothers remained, setting the stage for the incredible, though complicated, journey that lay ahead. In 1975, the Jackson 5 made the bold decision to part ways with Motown, seeking greater creative freedom and control over their music. However, Jermaine Jackson chose to stay loyal to the iconic label that had helped launch their careers. Was this decision a matter of loyalty, or was there something more to it? Jermaine's choice to remain with Motown set him apart from his brothers, marking a pivotal moment in his career. While the Jackson 5 embarked on a new chapter, Jermaine pursued his own path, determined to prove himself as a solo artist. In 1972, he released his first major solo hit, Daddy's Home. The song was a significant success, showcasing his smooth, soulful voice and ability to captivate audiences on his own. It was clear that Jermaine had the potential to succeed outside the group, earning him recognition as more than just a member of the Jackson 5. His early solo success laid the foundation for a promising career that would see him grow beyond the family band's shadow. As the years passed, Jermaine continued to build on his solo career with songs like "Let's Get Serious" in 1980. The track became a major hit, and Jermaine's smooth blend of R&B and pop made waves in the music industry. His sound evolved, and so did his presence as a solo artist, marking him as one of the premier voices of the time. Jermaine's growing reputation was further solidified when he earned a Grammy nomination for his work. This recognition was a testament to his talent and determination, proving that he could succeed on his own terms. While the Jackson 5 continued to soar under a new name, the Jacksons, Jermaine's solo career represented a unique chapter in his life, one where he explored his own musical identity, independent of his brother's shadow. Despite the successes he enjoyed, Jermaine's solo career was not without its challenges. He navigated the pressures of being a solo artist in a rapidly changing music landscape, competing for attention in an industry that was increasingly dominated by new acts and shifting musical tastes. Yet, through it all, Jermaine remained steadfast in his pursuit of success, demonstrating his resilience as a performer and musician. Jermaine Jackson's path to success wasn't without its share of competition, particularly within his own family. As his younger brother Michael began to dominate the music scene, a deep rivalry began to develop between them. Michael's emergence as a solo superstar was marked by groundbreaking albums like Off the Wall and Thriller, propelling him into global fame. But while Michael's rise reached unparalleled heights, Jermaine found himself struggling to carve out his own space. The tension between the brothers grew as Michael's success seemed to overshadow everything Jermaine had worked for. For a time, both brothers were pursuing separate careers, Jermaine as a solo artist and Michael in his own right. But the comparisons were inevitable. Michael's increasing fame created a sense of competition, and what started as sibling rivalry soon escalated into something more personal. Reports began to surface that Michael, in an attempt to maintain his spot at the top, allegedly used his influence to hinder Jermaine's career. It's said that Michael actively tried to block collaborations that could have advanced Jermaine's solo success. Songwriters who were slated to work with Jermaine found themselves sidetracked by Michael's demands. These actions were a clear indication that Michael, despite being his brother, saw Jermaine as a direct threat to his own dominance in the industry. For Jermaine, these attempts at sabotage were not just professional, they were deeply emotional. To have his own brother seemingly working against him was a betrayal that cut to the core. Jermaine was hurt and felt abandoned by someone he had always considered more than just a sibling, someone he had once worked so closely with. The frustration was palpable, and it's believed that it fueled much of the resentment Jermaine later expressed through his music. One of the clearest expressions of Jermaine's pain came through in his music. In his song, Word to the Bad, Jermaine opened up about his feelings of betrayal, addressing Michael's perceived selfishness. The lyrics were raw and unfiltered, a reflection of the emotional toll the rivalry had taken on him. It was clear that Jermaine's connection to Michael was no longer just that of brothers. It had become a bitter rivalry. The effects of this tension between the two brothers were far-reaching. It wasn't just a matter of hurt feelings, it was a professional challenge that altered the trajectory of their careers. While Michael soared as the undisputed king of pop, Jermaine's career seemed to stall in the background, as if perpetually in the shadow of his younger brother's towering presence. This sibling rivalry, marked by public battles and private struggles, would shape the relationship between Michael and Jermaine for years to come. In 1986, a relationship began that would send shockwaves through the Jackson family, stirring up a storm of scandal and deep emotional turmoil. Randy Jackson, the youngest of the Jackson brothers, became romantically involved with Alejandra Oazia. Their relationship was filled with passion, and over the years, they had 2 children together, a daughter and a son. Despite the challenges they faced, Randy and Alejandra seemed to be building a life together. But the true drama began when Jermaine, Randy's older brother, entered the picture. At the time, Randy and Alejandra had been in a committed relationship for years. They had children, and their bond appeared to be solid, though not without its struggles. The couple had faced ups and downs, but they had always managed to stay together, trying to make things work for their family. However, things took an unexpected turn when Jermaine, Randy's own brother, secretly began a relationship with Alejandra. The betrayal was unimaginable. Jermaine's involvement with Alejandra wasn't just a shocking act of infidelity. It was an act that would forever alter the Jackson family dynamic. Randy, who had already been struggling with his own personal issues, now found himself caught in the middle of a family drama that no one could have predicted. The pain of losing the woman he loved to his brother was beyond anything Randy had ever experienced. It wasn't just a romantic betrayal, it was a deep family betrayal. For Randy, this was a wound that would take years to heal. The situation became even more complicated when, in 1995, Jermaine and Alejandra shocked everyone by getting married. The family was stunned by the news, and Randy was left reeling. For him, this was the ultimate betrayal, not just by Alejandra, but by his own brother. It wasn't just a question of who Alejandra chose, it was the fact that she chose his own brother over him. Randy's pain was evident, and he expressed his hurt in interviews, calling the situation disrespectful and hurtful. To make matters worse, Jermaine and Alejandra's marriage meant that Randy's children would now become part of his brother's household. This revelation set off a chain reaction of emotions within the Jackson family. The brothers, once so close, were now estranged. The familial ties that had once been so strong were now tainted by jealousy, anger, and resentment. The situation quickly escalated into a full-blown family feud, with each side blaming the other for the collapse of relationships and the breakdown of trust. Randy's deep sense of betrayal left him questioning everything he thought he knew about his brother and his family. The drama didn't stop with Jermaine and Alejandra's marriage. The fallout from the situation reverberated through the entire Jackson family, leading to more strife and division. Randy was devastated by what had transpired, and his relationship with his brother Jermaine would never be the same again. In the years that followed, the 2 brothers would remain distant, unable to fully reconcile the damage that had been done. The impact of this scandal stretched beyond just Randy and Jermaine. It touched every member of the Jackson family, forcing them to confront the painful reality of betrayal, loyalty, and the complexities of family dynamics. The wounds from this scandal were deep, and the repercussions of Jermaine's actions would linger for years, leaving scars that would never fully heal. In 1995, Jermaine Jackson made a decision that shocked not only his family, but also the entire public. He married Alejandra Oazia, the woman who had been romantically involved with his brother, Randy. This move sent shockwaves through the Jackson family and set off a chain of events that would forever alter their relationships and the family dynamic. Alejandra had been in a long-term relationship with Randy, and they shared 2 children together. The fact that Jermaine, Randy's own brother, would marry the mother of his children was an unimaginable betrayal for Randy. For Jermaine, this was a bold move, one that came with a mixture of personal desires, family drama, and a desire to create a life with someone he had come to love. But what Jermaine didn't anticipate was the deep emotional fallout that would follow. Randy, understandably, was devastated. The betrayal was not just personal, it was deeply familial. For him, losing Alejandra to his own brother felt like a betrayal of the highest order. In interviews, Randy opened up about the pain he felt, expressing that it was one thing to lose a partner, but to lose her to his brother was something he could not easily overcome. His feelings of anger and hurt were evident, and they laid the foundation for a lengthy and bitter feud between the two brothers. The fallout from Jermaine and Alejandra's marriage was far-reaching. The Jackson family, once united and strong, was now fractured. The love that had once bound the Jackson brothers together was now overshadowed by resentment, distrust, and betrayal. Jermaine's decision to marry Alejandra left an indelible mark on the family, creating divisions that would last for years. The legal battles that followed the marriage only added to the strain on the family. Randy, still reeling from the emotional blow, refused to pay child support for the children he had with Alejandra, citing the fact that they were now living in the Jackson family compound under Jermaine's roof. Randy felt that, given the circumstances, Jermaine should take responsibility for the children, not him. This led to a series of legal battles that would further deepen the divide between the brothers. The situation became even more complicated when the courts ruled that Randy was still required to pay child support. Despite the personal rift between them, the legal obligations remained in place. Randy felt betrayed by the system, believing that he had already been supporting his children by allowing them to live in the Jackson compound. The conflict over child support payments was a constant source of tension, and it added another layer of stress to an already fragile family dynamic. Jermaine's marriage to Alejandra also affected the children involved. For Randy's children, the reality of living with their mother and their uncle, Jermaine, under the same roof was undoubtedly complicated. The blending of families in such a difficult and dramatic context had lasting effects on the children. While they were too young to fully grasp the intricacies of the adult conflicts, the atmosphere of tension and betrayal was palpable, and it left a lasting impact on them as they grew up. The ripple effects of Jermaine and Alejandra's marriage went beyond just legal and financial disputes. The emotional scars were felt throughout the entire Jackson family, particularly between the brothers. The fracture that began with the marriage would continue to affect their relationships for years to come, as the wounds of betrayal, distrust, and unresolved anger lingered. After Jermaine Jackson's tumultuous marriage to Alejandra Oazia ended in 2004, his personal life became even more complicated. The drama surrounding his marriage and the fallout from his actions had already shaken the Jackson family to its core, but Jermaine's subsequent relationships added new layers of complexity. In fact, Jermaine's love life would continue to make headlines for years, with multiple marriages and personal decisions that would continue to stir controversy. One of the most shocking developments in Jermaine's personal life was his marriage to another woman while he was still married to Alejandra. The news of this secret marriage only added fuel to the fire of public speculation and further strained his relationships with his family members. It seemed that every step Jermaine took in his personal life was met with more drama and emotional fallout. In 2005, just a year after his divorce from Alejandra, Jermaine married Halima Rashid, a woman from a wealthy family in the Middle East. His marriage to Halima marked a new chapter in his life, and for a time, it appeared that Jermaine was trying to put the turmoil of his previous relationships behind him. Halima's background and wealth added a different dynamic to Jermaine's personal life, and their marriage seemed to offer a fresh start. However, the peace was short-lived. After several years of marriage, Jermaine and Halima's relationship began to deteriorate. Despite the high-profile nature of their union, the cracks in their marriage were becoming increasingly evident. In 2016, after years of mounting tension and unresolved issues, the couple decided to divorce, The end of his marriage to Halima marked yet another painful chapter in Jermaine's personal life, as he found himself once again facing the challenges of navigating relationships in the public eye. After the divorce from Halima, Jermaine's personal life didn't settle down. He began a relationship with Madi Velasquez, continuing the pattern of high-profile relationships and emotional complexity. With each new partner, Jermaine's life seemed to grow more entangled in the web of public scrutiny, family drama, and personal conflict. It became clear that while Jermaine sought companionship, his relationships were often marred by the same issues that had plagued his earlier marriages. Jermaine's multiple marriages and personal struggles were not just a reflection of his own decisions, but also of the deep emotional toll that his family drama had taken on him. His relationships, like those of many others in the Jackson family, were shaped by the pressures of fame, family conflicts, and a personal journey marked by a search for stability and love. Each marriage, each relationship, was another attempt to find peace amid the chaos, but none seemed to provide the lasting happiness Jermaine was seeking. Despite his tumultuous romantic life, Jermaine did find solace in his spiritual journey. In the years following his divorce from Alejandra, Jermaine converted to Islam, a personal decision that marked a significant change in his life. This conversion was not just a spiritual shift, but also a cultural one, as it added a new dimension to his identity. His faith provided him with a sense of direction, offering a path toward inner peace amid the struggles of his personal life. However, the impact of his complex relationships and the public nature of his personal life continued to affect Jermaine in ways that were not always easy to navigate. His relationships with his family, particularly with his brothers, were never fully healed, and the emotional scars from his past would continue to influence his future decisions. Through it all, Jermaine remained a public figure, constantly under the scrutiny of the media and the public eye, making it difficult for him to ever truly escape the shadows of his family's legacy. Jermaine Jackson's life wasn't just marked by personal turmoil and family conflicts. Behind the public drama, his financial struggles and legal battles have also been a constant factor, complicating his already turbulent journey. From the moment he became a father, financial issues became a central theme in his adult life, especially in the realm of child support and family obligations. These legal battles, particularly those surrounding his children with Alejandra Oazia, were a major source of stress and conflict for Jermaine. One of the most significant financial issues Jermaine faced involved his children with Alejandra. After his marriage to her, a bitter legal battle ensued over child support payments. Despite his personal feelings towards Alejandra and the complicated nature of their relationship, the courts still ruled that he was required to provide financial support for his children. This created a tense situation where, despite the emotional and familial chaos, Jermaine was legally obligated to ensure his children's well-being. The legal battles regarding child support payments became a point of contention not only with Alejandra, but also within the Jackson family itself. Randy Jackson, Jermaine's brother, played a significant role in these disputes. Randy felt that since Alejandra and the children were now living in the Jackson family compound under Jermaine's roof, he should no longer be responsible for paying child support. This disagreement over financial responsibilities created further division between the brothers. Randy, still reeling from the emotional betrayal of Jermaine's marriage to Alejandra, refused to comply with the child support obligations, claiming that Jermaine should take full responsibility. This stance put a further strain on their relationship, with Randy's refusal to make the payments causing ongoing legal complications. Jermaine, on the other hand, felt that he was doing enough by allowing Alejandra and the children to live in the Jackson compound. From his perspective, he had already provided them with shelter and financial security, and the additional child support payments seemed unfair. The court, however, did not share this view and ordered Randy to continue making payments, which only added to the frustration on both sides. The financial strain was palpable as the legal battles dragged on, costing both brothers not only in terms of money, but also in emotional toll. The tensions between Jermaine and Randy weren't just about money. They were about responsibility, fairness, and a sense of betrayal that ran deep. Randy's position, refusing to pay child support, was rooted in the hurt he felt from the family's personal betrayals. For Jermaine, the battle was about fulfilling his obligations as a father while navigating the complex relationships within his family. Both brothers were caught in a cycle of legal and financial struggles, with no easy resolution in sight. These financial struggles were just one piece of the puzzle. Jermaine's public life was consistently overshadowed by the ongoing financial and legal issues, leaving little room for peace or personal fulfillment. Every legal decision seemed to bring more complications and frustrations, making it harder for Jermaine to move forward. The emotional burden, compounded by the constant pressure of legal battles and financial obligations, continued to weigh heavily on him throughout his adult life. In the 2000s, Jermaine Jackson found a new platform to revive his public profile and make his mark once again: reality television. After years of navigating personal struggles and family drama, Jermaine turned to the growing reality TV industry to reintroduce himself to the public eye. His decision to appear on shows like Celebrity Big Brother and The Jacksons, A Family Dynasty, gave him an opportunity to showcase a different side of himself, one that was perhaps more accessible and relatable to audiences who had followed his family's journey over the years. Jermaine's appearance on Celebrity Big Brother was one of the most notable moments of his reality TV career. He entered the house as one of the most recognized personalities, known both for his musical history and the dramatic moments that had defined his life. Throughout the competition, Jermaine maintained a calm and diplomatic demeanor, striving to be a peacemaker and keeping the peace among his housemates. His ability to remain level-headed in a chaotic environment garnered him respect, and he finished the competition in second place, just shy of the coveted first spot. While his time on the show was a reminder of his public persona, it also showed a more grounded, introspective side of Jermaine, a stark contrast to the public controversies that had marked his earlier years. His participation in Celebrity Big Brother was not just about winning the competition. It was a personal journey for Jermaine to regain some sense of visibility and relevance. Reality television, in many ways, had become a way for celebrities to stay in the limelight, and Jermaine was no exception. For him, it was an opportunity to connect with a new generation of viewers and to remind the public of his legacy, separate from the Jackson 5 or his turbulent family history. Following Celebrity Big Brother, Jermaine continued his reality TV journey with his involvement in The Jacksons, A Family Dynasty, a series that explored the ongoing lives of the Jackson family after Michael's death. The show offered a glimpse into the private lives of the Jackson brothers, delving into their attempts to maintain family unity while managing personal and professional struggles. Jermaine's appearance on the show allowed him to continue his narrative in the public eye, reminding audiences of his place in the Jackson family saga. However, for many, it raised questions about whether the family was simply using Michael's name to generate publicity and keep their legacy alive. The public's perception of the Jackson family's use of reality TV to stay relevant was divided. Some saw it as a legitimate attempt to share their story and struggles, while others viewed it as a way to capitalize on Michael's iconic name for attention. Jermaine, as one of Michael's brothers, was often caught in the middle of this scrutiny. While he continued to perform and participate in media projects, there was always an underlying sense that the family, and particularly Jermaine, was seeking to hold on to the fame and success that Michael had achieved, often at the cost of their own individuality. Despite the mixed public opinion, Jermaine's reality TV appearances provided a new avenue for him to remain in the public consciousness. For many, it was a reminder that despite the drama and personal issues, Jermaine was still an integral part of the Jackson family, and he was determined to maintain his presence, even in a vastly changing entertainment landscape. Even after Michael Jackson's death, the drama within the Jackson family continued to escalate. The tension that had long existed behind the scenes came to a head, as family members publicly clashed over issues surrounding Michael's estate, custody of his children, and the legacy he left behind. Despite the deep sorrow that followed Michael's passing, the unresolved conflicts within the family seemed to intensify, as each member navigated their own emotional and financial struggles. The drama began almost immediately after Michael's death in 2009. The Jackson family was thrown into chaos when it became clear that there were disputes over Michael's will and the management of his estate. Michael had left his fortune to his mother, Catherine Jackson, and his 3 children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. But many of his siblings, including Jermaine, believed they were entitled to a larger share. The will, which had been created several years before his death, left out the Jackson brothers and sisters, causing a rift that only grew wider in the wake of Michael's passing. The validity of Michael's will was questioned, with some family members, including Jermaine, publicly expressing doubts about its authenticity. They claimed that the document had been forged, pointing to the fact that Michael had not left anything to his siblings. The Jackson family, who had once been so united in their rise to fame, was now divided over Michael's estate. This public dispute over money, power, and legacy only deepened the family's wounds, as the pain of losing Michael was compounded by the bitterness over what they believed was an unfair distribution of his wealth. Amidst the legal battles over the will, another source of tension emerged: the custody of Michael's children. After Catherine Jackson was briefly removed as the children's legal guardian, Jermaine and his siblings were involved in a high-profile struggle to gain custody of the kids. The issue of who would raise Michael's children became another point of contention within the family, further straining the already fragile relationships between the Jackson brothers and sisters. The media coverage of this custody battle only amplified the public scrutiny and added fuel to the fire of family conflicts. Despite the ongoing legal and emotional battles, Jermaine eventually took steps toward reconciliation. After years of fighting, he publicly apologized for his role in the family drama, expressing his desire to move forward in peace. Jermaine acknowledged the pain and tension that had been caused by the disputes over Michael's estate and the custody of his children, and he called for the family to come together and focus on healing. His apology was a rare moment of reflection, as Jermaine sought to put the bitterness behind him and embrace the future. Jermaine's public apology came at a time when the family's conflicts seemed to have reached their peak. His call for unity was seen as an attempt to put aside the past and focus on what Michael would have wanted: the preservation of his legacy and the well-being of his children. However, the scars left by the disputes over Michael's estate were not easily healed, and it would take time for the family to move beyond the bitter feuds that had consumed them in the wake of his death. In the end, the Jackson family's drama was not just about money or custody. It was about loss, family, and the complexities of a public life that had always been marked by both great triumphs and deep personal struggles. Jermaine, like the rest of his family, was left to navigate the aftermath of Michael's passing, constantly trying to balance his own feelings of grief and loyalty with the pressures of the public eye and the ongoing family feuds. His desire for peace and reconciliation, though sincere, was just one small part of a much larger story that would continue to unfold for years to come. Throughout his life, Jermaine Jackson has remained a figure of controversy within the Jackson family. His journey, marked by both professional achievements and personal struggles, has shaped him into the complex person we see today. Despite facing numerous challenges, from family rivalries to public disputes, Jermaine's influence continues to echo in the ongoing legacy of the Jackson name. While his career has had its ups and downs, his contributions to music and the Jackson family's story cannot be ignored. From his early days with the Jackson 5 to his solo endeavors, Jermaine's voice and talent have left a lasting impact. His personal life, filled with drama and tumult, has been as public as his musical career, but it has also revealed a deeper, more reflective side of him. Jermaine's life story is one of highs and lows, filled with conflict, reconciliation, and growth. In the end, despite everything, he remains an integral part of the Jackson family's history.